Danielle walked into her lavishly decorated townhouse fuming. She was so angry that she shut the door with so much force you thought it would break off its hinges. The walls shook and rumbled like it was an earthquake of a 3.5 magnitude. Danielle tried to calm herself down while her mother's words flooded through her mind, taking over her thoughts. A lady must never draw negative attention to herself, no matter what. The statement vibrated through every crevice of Danielle's conscience whenever she wanted to kick, scream, or shout her displeasures about life's mishaps. Like when she walked into her dorm room only to find her friend straddling her boyfriend and he looked like he was enjoying it. Or walking past her father's office and catching him pressed up against her aunt, his wife's sister, kissing and fondling one another. Instead of venting and drawing unnecessary attention to herself, Danielle learned to swallow the hurtful truth and never think about it again. A lady who was well-mannered would try her best not to cause anyone discomfort by rehashing unsettling memories of the past. Danielle lives in a lovely, quiet, gated community. She cannot stand nosy neighbors. Danielle kept to herself, not meddling in anyone's business, and she liked the same respect.
Mind your business. Ain't nobody paying bills over here but me,
she said to herself during her inner rants. Danielle is a 30-year-old, single, very attractive, highly intelligent, and very fashionably conscious, successful junior advertising executive in one of LA's top advertising firms. You could say she has worked as hard as anyone else has in order to secure her lucrative position. She quickly learned how to duck and dodge the hate that was thrown at her by backstabbing colleagues and people she considered friends. It came along with the success. This explains the reason she didn't mind being propositioned by several superiors who were responsible for promoting her to the position of junior executive because it came along with the territory. On several occasions, Danielle had been an arm ornament for a number of executives by accompanying them to annual functions and special events. She didn't mind being used in that manner in the least. As a matter of fact, she thought it was flattering that an exec would call upon her to adorn them with her presence.
I know I look good,
she said to herself as she posed in front of a full-length mirror. Danielle was making sure she looked tight in all the right places as she prepared herself to get ready to shake hands and entertain whomever her superior had to play nice with.
It ain't my fault that his wife ain't good enough for this occasion.
She laughed as she pressed out slightly visible wrinkles in her fire red, strapless, backless Vera Wang cocktail dress.
Hell, or any occasion for that matter.
She boasted as she teased her hair.
That's why he calls moi.
After blowing a kiss to herself, she shamelessly struts off. Their loss is her temporary gain. Besides, she only rinsed them long enough to get what she wants. What's the harm in that? I always give them back. Don't get me wrong, Danielle was quite the empathetic one. It wasn't hard for her to understand just how lonely her married suitors become when their wives are out of town and they loathe sleeping alone. Her justifications were as follows. He is lonely. Why should he have to sleep alone in that king-size bed while his wife is probably out there somewhere making horizontal moves herself? That was her MO. In order to feel guiltless, she convinced herself that the other party must be doing something wrong and their wrong made her wrong right. Danielle believes she's worked hard for what she has, and getting a little help every now and then by committing such small acts of harmless indiscretions never hurt anyone. Her mother seemed to be fine with her father's many indiscretions after all these years. To further justify her corrupt way of thinking, Danielle saturated her mind with unconscionable statements like, if you want to accomplish great things in life, you just might have to get a little dirty. Danielle was no dummy. She's far from it. Her parents made sure they provided their daughter with the best education that money could buy. Her life was centered on education. She might have recalled learning how to fill out a college application at the tender age of 5. Failure was not an option. She came from a long line of established professionals. Her family, the Stevens, are well-regarded individuals who pay their taxes. Well, at least some of the times. They never hesitate to help the poor, most of the time. They are members of various highly recognized charities. They would never make the mistake of getting involved with any charity that wasn't widely known. To further show just how impressive the Stevens are in their own eyes, they attend church every single Sunday. To Danielle's family, church was seen as a place where they are taught good morals. Church is where they are reminded that even Jesus Christ helped the poor, so they're in good company. They've obtained principles like forgiving those who have hurt them. The Stevens have kept some of these teachings of the Lord near and dear to their hearts, but not without applying their own twisted versions of it.
You can forgive, honey,
Danielle's father said to her one afternoon when she walked into his study thinking he hadn't yet arrived home. Danielle looked like a deer caught in headlights when she walked into his office and saw him sitting on his wine-colored, soft leather executive couch, holding a glass of brandy, staring off into space.
But don't forget what the bastards have done. They'll come running back. They always come crawling back, and don't hesitate to help them, baby,
he says with eyes of fire. She doesn't know if the menacing look in his eyes is from the alcohol or intense hatred. He asks for those who dare to betray him.
I want you to help them, baby girl. Never ever let them forget what they did to you in the first place.
Sad to say, Danielle retained the ungodly advice without questioning its origin. It came from one of many dark places in her father's heart. He handed over the ill-advised directions to his daughter because his former accountant revealed to him that he had stolen money from Mr. Stevens throughout the years. His ex-accountant decided to ease his conscience, hoping his revelations would soften Mr. Stevens' heart and cause him to reach out to him in his time of need. Being the good Christian that Mr. Stevens is, he accepted the rogue accountant's admission. He even offered to help him. Of course, his help came with penalties. Mr. Stevens made sure not one day went by without reminding his old accountant how lowly and treacherous his actions were and how glad he should be to have such a kind friend like himself. Church and God's word helped the Stevens to truly embrace how blessed they are and how they should always appreciate everything they've accomplished in life. They learned that there's nothing wrong with having abundance of wealth, owning homes throughout the four corners of the earth, luxury cars that aren't available to the working class, custom-made clothes designed by top designers, and purchasing yachts to sail the great seas. As I stated, the Stevens are Christians in name only. As long as they appear to be upstanding citizens of society and attend church regularly, they were sure. Hey folks, this concludes part 1. Let's pick up where we left off on part 2. See you there. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I would appreciate that very much. Thank you.